Hi, so in this session I am going to discuss about public and private access modifiers. So whatever we have done till now was everything public. So what I mean with that, let's see through the code. So we have initialized a constructor s1 equal to student Parik and we have called this. Now if I try to print s1.name, as you know what will be the output? My output will be Parik only. Okay. So I got the output as Parik. Now the important thing is I can change that name outside the class. This is s1.name. I'm doing this outside the class. I can do this. Now if I try to print s1.name, I'm getting Ankush. Okay. So s1's name has been changed to Ankush. I am able to do that outside the class. That everything is public. I can change age as well. s1.age equal to 20. Now before this, my s1.name was this and my s1.age before doing that was this. After this, my s1.name is this and s1.age is this. If I now run this, so Parik and 15 was initially there and in question 20 was after that. I was able to do that because name and age were public. You can access them outside the class. But this is not a great thing. Some variables you want to be private. I don't want anybody to change the name. Okay, outside the class. If anybody wants to change a name of any student, he should come and change the code through my class. Okay, that code should be here only. That code should not be outside the class because this is not a good practice. You can make one object, then you can change the variables of those objects. Some variables may be allowed to change, but some variables may not be allowed to change. Okay, so if I want to do that, so that I can do through, I can name this variable as that. This will be my private variable. So I can do like this s1 dot underscore underscore name. So now name is a private variable. So if I now try to run this, I'm getting an error in line 28 that I cannot access name. There is nothing like name. Student object has no attribute name. If you have a confusion, you may have a confusion like this. Print s1 dot underscore underscore name. You cannot have also do that. Student object has no attribute underscore underscore name. So underscore underscore name is nothing outside the class. But if you try to do this, let's say student details I want to print, and let's say I do this. I was not able to s1 dot underscore underscore name here, and s1 dot age was public. s1 dot student details I will be able to do because here I am printing self dot underscore underscore name. So let's see what happens. Now student object has no attribute name because this is not allowed to do. Let's see whether this is allowed. Yes, this is allowed. Here you are able to access underscore underscore name. Here you are able to access underscore underscore name, but you are not allowed outside the class. So what do you mean by private variables or private access modifiers? The private variables are initialized through underscore underscore name. So before any variable you have to write underscore underscore. So that will be a private variable. Similarly, in case of functions, that you will have to write underscore underscore before that function name. Let's say you want is passed as a private function, so you have to write like this underscore underscore is passed. So you have to write underscore underscore, and you can access that only within the class. So you are able to access here, but you are not able to access outside the class. So that is the concept of private members, private variables, or private functions, whatever you want to say. You can access them within the class, but you cannot access them outside the class. Now, there is a particular way to access them outside the class, but that should not be used by developers. So Python uses the concept of name mangling. Name mangling, we don't need to go deep into that. So it actually do like this. If you are using this double underscore, so it replaces that underscore as your object underscore underscore dot underscore underscore variable you are writing something like this. So it replaces this as object dot class name underscore underscore variable. So you will be able to access this variable through this. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you want to see what is my name, you can do like, I will not access s1 dot student details, but I will be able to access outside the class through this s1 dot underscore before the class name. There should be an underscore as well. Okay, s1 dot underscore class name. My class name is student. Double underscore my variable, that is name. I will be able to do that, and I'm getting Parik here. So I am able to access outside the class private variables as this because of the name mangling concept which is done by Python. But this should be refrained by developers. This should not be used anywhere. This is just what Python is allowed to do. Python has no concept of private, so you can access the private variables through this, but this should not be used by developers. It should be used only in the urgency case. This code should never be written anywhere. Okay, so as a developer, we have a responsibility that we will not write the code like this. There is a way to access the private variable, but we will not access it. Okay, so this is the difference between private and public variable. Beside this, you cannot access the private variable outside the class. This should be refrained. This is just a concept which I need to tell, and that I have already told. Now, for any private variable, you will write underscore underscore. And for public variables, you don't need to write double underscore or anything. Just this is a variable. You can access them outside the class. So you can do this. You cannot do this, but you can definitely do this. s1 dot age equal to 15, and you will try to print s1 dot student details. You will not get any error. Line 14 has invalid syntax. Oh, one second. s1 dot. I'm doing like s1 dot age equal to 20, something like this. This is allowed because this is a public variable. Dot age equal to 20. One thing more, you can make this also as a private variable. This is a class variable, so you can make this also as a private variable. So you cannot do s1 dot passing percentage access this because you will have an error that student object has no attribute passing percentage. Similarly, if you try to access this, This is also not allowed. This is also not allowed. You can access through this. Through objects you can do this. You are able to access passing percentage is 40 because this is a way to access private variables. That should not be used, but I'm just telling you, you can use this and you can write this as well. Okay, student dot underscore underscore this, student dot underscore student this, you can access that private variable through this. So this is also fine, you will also get 40 here. Okay, so there is a way to access private variable, but that should not be used, that should be different. And public variables can be accessible outside the class and inside the class as well. But private variables, if you write double underscore, you will be able to access only within the class. You have to go through the class to access that variable. There is a other way to access private variables, but that should not be used. Okay, great. Thank you.